G'day everyone, you found the champ dog, congratulations. Great work from all of you, we appreciate your effort. So today we're jumping back in with some more Rakdos Ramp. So this is a slightly different list to what you saw in the last video. And look, I'll level with you guys, this is not the version that you're actually going to see in the footage, which is closer to what you saw in the previous video. As I said, I've had a bunch of technical issues with my recordings, and look, this is what it is. This is what the list is now. This is my updated version since the games that you're about to see. I will go over some of the changes. I've worked in another Faceless Haven. I'd honestly like to work in more, but I just don't know where to find room at the moment. It's really good. Obviously, in the mono red ramp deck I was running last season, it was pretty easy to add 4 crawling barons, but given that you need to fit 2 colors, it's actually hard to fit in colorless utility lands, so I think 2 has to be it. You'll notice I've cut Iron Crag Feet entirely. I was just finding it a bit awkward, and I found one of the big issues I was having with this deck is that we're not actually applying enough pressure in the mid game. So against value-oriented lists like Urian, particularly the green-based ones, you know, you could slap down an Ugin and wipe their board, but they've accrued so much value because they've been dictating the game up until that point, because we're just sort of dirtling around Solemn Simulacrum and Amaze Mind Totem, not really doing much. They can just accrue value, and by the time you play Ugin and wipe their board, you get a ton of value doing that, but they've still got gas in the tank. And you're just left with this long fight that realistically their deck is better geared towards winning. So I'm trying to apply a little bit more pressure, trying to be a little bit more aggressive. So I've gone with Goldspan Dragon because it does that. It gives you a decent threat while still helping the primary game plan of ramping. Now, I had tried this card previously and cut it because I didn't think it was good enough, but I'm giving it another shot. I think I may have dismissed it a little too hastily, just given a couple of bad matchups that I had, and that was when I was playing the pre-snow version as well. So I'm just trying this out again. It feels weird not having Iron Crag Feet, but I think Iron Crag Feet worked a lot better in the straight red version. Because you have black cards, it can be hard to find something to do with 7 red mana, especially given we are running Blood on the Snow. Like, we don't have Ox of Agonis in the main deck anymore. We have Faceless Haven, not Crawling Barons, which was another mana sink because we can't, and as I just said, we can't fit as many utility lands. So this deck doesn't have as many ways to use the mana as a mono red version might. And I've also just been finding sometimes it just sits in your hand doing nothing, and also the primary game plan is often just not quite good enough, and you just need an extra angle and a little bit of extra pressure, and Goldspan Dragon helps with that. So those are the main changes. I think I mentioned I worked in an extra Faceless Haven. I cut a Scorching Dragonfire, so I'm now up to 28 lands, I believe. 22 lands and 8 MDFCs, so literally half our deck can be land. It's a land party. Get it? That's the main change, along with some tweaks to the sideboard. I do think this is the best version of the deck so far. I've been really enjoying it, but after this video I'm going to be moving on to other things for a short while, as I will touch on in the outro. But anyway, coming up, I've got a couple of games against some control lists. I think there's a Demir control, and then someone trying to make our Grixis work. Strangely, he goes for a Grixis Snow list, and I just think that's way too ambitious. Full respect for someone trying to make Grixis work, you know, fight the good fight, you have my support, but I don't think that's the way to go. This guy was running so many basic lands, he just couldn't play the game because he kept drawing basic lands. It's a bit funny, but you'll see. I thought you guys might appreciate seeing someone's take on Grixis anyway, even if it's not a particularly good list. But anyway, I'll catch you guys after the games. Let's jump on in. On the draw, this hand is okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Got some early plays. I mean, you never really want to see Ugin in your opening hand, but then you never know when you're going to draw him. Okay, opponents are having a tough time with their mold decision. Oh, Malta 5, you hate to see it. So we'll have to decide between holding up Stomp or playing out the Tome, depending what we see here. Okay, looks like we're playing out the Tome. Get it under counter magic, so this is going to be a control-y deck by the looks of it. Yep, they kind of need to scry because they Malta 5. So it looks like to me control. Agonizing Remorse, they probably take the Ugin. And if they're playing a Dimir control deck and they don't have answers to Bone Crusher Giant, I don't know what they're doing. But it could be they only have like one answer and they need to get rid of the other one now. That's entirely possible. I'm going to leave this to just draw cards later. We're going to shock in so we can play the Giant. Force them to deal with it. And I mean, they'll take 2 off that interaction anyway if they have like a Heartless Act to eliminate, so we'll still both be on 17. I mean, it would be really nice to hit like a Solemn Simulacrum or something so I can keep curving out and pressuring their small hand, but... Okay. Missed a land drop, I guess. Yeah, they did. Oh, that sucks for them. So we're just going to hold up our draw off Maze Mine turn. That is such a big loss for them. Missing that land drop. I mean, they're going to gain a bit of life here, but they're like behind on cards, behind on lands. Okay, so do we think they have exactly Negate or Disdainful Stroke? I mean, I guess we can find out like this. I mean, it's entirely likely they're just holding up for Maze Mine turn, and I should have just gone for Ugin. That is entirely likely. Because I mean, an Ugin this early will be very hard for them to answer. But I mean, they're kind of already struggling, so I don't think it matters. I mean, I think the correct play would have been to just go for Nugan. I've been making a lot of substandard plays the last couple days, so probably do need to be a little more on top of that. So we're going to attack first. Sure. We're going to just try to go for it. Okay, that does look like a counter spell now, doesn't it? Still, I've already committed. I could have just played the sad robot and I can't draw, but... Okay, no, it's not. I mean, if they had a counter spell, they definitely would have played it there.
I will destroy.
Okay. I don't know what's going on here then. Okay, cycle a Shark Typhoon, sure. And they missed another land drop, didn't they? Oh, this poor guy's so far behind. Okay, Bloodchief's Thirst.
I did all I deemed appropriate.
So this can just be a really expensive reanimator spell for a Bone Crusher Giant. 2, 3, 4, 5. If I hit a land, obviously I'm into an untapped land. So we're going to draw a card on end step, obviously. Yeah, so it just means it's not entirely useless. I mean, it can also kill a Planeswalker, so if they're playing Ashiok, it can work there. Okay, so they are starting to get back in with lands. They're on 6 now. Mind you, we're on 8, so they're still a fair bit behind, but we're also running out of cards in hand. So, do we think they have a counter spell now? I mean, honestly, I think they're just holding up a Shark Typhoon. What have I got in here? Yeah, Bone Crusher. So I mean, I'll never be able to get Dugan with this. Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of prefer to keep up my snowman and bluff that I have something. So there's 4 mana in my pool, and they want to tap these 4 lands to get 2 more mana for this. Does that make sense to anyone? I have to do it like this. Okay, so the auto tapper has serious issues with snow mana. That's what we're learning here. That is what we're learning here. But anyway, this is just an expensive reanimation spell for our Bone Crusher Giant. I think it's not entirely unfeasible to think they're playing either Neutralize or Saw It Coming, so I don't just want to slam down Tibalt. Yep, there it is. Cool. So next turn we can slam down Tibalt. Yeah, this is definitely Shark Typhoon. So obviously that took a little bit of flipping around, which ate into my timer a bit, but yeah, our opponent's taken a... I mean, we'd have at least an extra 30 seconds, so they're taking like an extra minute here. A little bit slow. Let's see what they do. Yep, Maze Mind. Makes sense. Obviously we're going to draw on their end step. Okay, so they're just drawing now. Okay, a little bit desperate. Yep, so this is a Shark Typhoon. Otherwise it wouldn't hang here. Okay, for Tibalt here, hope they don't have the negate or disdainful strike. Do I want to exile the Maze Mind turn, or do I just want to start ticking up?
Oh, my cover's blown, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I want to take an advantage away from them. Sure.
Mine.
See if they find an answer. We have seen Bloodchief's Thirst from them, haven't we? Yep, to kill Ugin. Murderous Rider, sure.
Don't try to follow.
I mean, I would have loved to see Faceless Haven. But I mean, this is okay. Obviously we're just going to Scorching Dragonfire this so they can't gain life. Sure, if that's what they want to spend their counterspell on, I really would have let that go. Given that you know I have Tibalt and Ugin. Take a Scry here as well, see if we can hit some more action. Another Maze Mind turn, I'm not going to complain about that. Get them down to 2. I mean, they can gain 2 back on this attack, but that's fine. That's pretty fine. This should be a bad matchup for us, given that they have counter spells, but I mean they're just so far behind from missing land drops. So the correct play here is to attack, I feel, because there's every chance I could hit removal and kill this off. Like, they're just going to block with it anyway if I attack, but like they've given me the chance now to find this and kill it and open up a lethal attack for next turn. I mean, attacking still means I can swing back for 4, I guess, but yeah, I mean, they kind of should have taken their value when they could get it. But yeah, I wasn't actually paying attention to the fact they were on 2, so it still would have been lethal. In which case it's, yeah, not so much the correct play. They just, yeah, Okay, yeah, I take it back. The correct play there was to just hope I didn't find it. And that you could block. I didn't really see any creatures from them. Definitely don't want that. So yeah, obviously our discard and things like Croxa and Oxyvagonus are going to be quite good here. Our removal is going to be less good. I assume they have some planeswalkers. I think Soul Shatters are probably better than Fumarole here. What else do I remove? I mean, I guess a couple of Frostbites. I mean, I don't have many ways to deal with Shark tokens now, but I don't think it's worth keeping him sweepers to deal with Shark tokens, and damage-based removal isn't amazing against them anyway. I think we just go like this and hope it works out for us. I mean, this hand's not amazing, but it's definitely keepable. We really do want to just curve out hit land drops in the early game. And Simulacrum's good, Crox is obviously good. Feet could be good, depending on what else we draw into. Okay, that's pretty nice. Obviously a lot better than Croxa at the moment. So I don't really want them to have any of these, but I need to take the Remorse so that they can't hit my Croxa, I think. That seems like such a weak play though. And the Maze Mind Tome is going to let them get so far ahead. Yeah, I'm going to take the tome, talk myself into it. I mean, I don't really want them having a counter spell either, but they're like behind on cards at the moment. Obviously they're going to start drawing with Maze Mind Tome. Okay. There's obviously a temptation to just hold up Neutralize there, but this has obviously worked out well for them because they can hit my Croxa. And I mean, they absolutely should. Yep. Easy decision. Easy decision. Just keep playing out the things they know about. So they're actually in a decent position at the moment. They can counter my Simulacrum next turn and just like draw a few things with Maze Mind Tome to make up for the fact that they've had to take a couple of molds. So we've got double black, double red for Croxa. Play the card they know about. I'm honestly at this point would be a little happier about getting Bone Crusher Giant counted because it's got way less value over the course of the game, but it's also a much better threat. Okay, but they're just going to nab it with Remorse. That's fine though. We really need to hit a Maze Mind Tome of our own soon to start getting back into the card advantage battle. Hitting Ugin's pretty nice though as well.
Power without wisdom is the path.
I mean, they obviously have answers to it in their deck. They've got Bloodchief's Thirst and Murderous Rider, so they can draw into that. But just puts them back on the back foot. Yeah, see, they're like doing this in their own turn to try and find something.
My flames burn beyond.
I feel like there's a Shark Typhoon here. I probably, because I was feeling that, I should have cast Remorse first, so that if they cycle for 2, I can ping it down with Ugin. So this was poorly sequenced on my part. Yeah, they really should have cycled their Shark Typhoon here. That was so the only reason we're not getting punished is they made an even bigger misplay. They 100% should have cycled, because I've already used Ugin. Next time we can ultimate him if they don't have an answer. God, he reaches his ultimate so quickly if you don't have to tick him down. So I mean, I'm obviously going to go for it. Put up to 7 cards from our hand onto the battlefield, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't count as a permanent because of the front side. So I guess I'm just getting the 2 Oxes. I'm going to get some things into the yard, but that doesn't matter. Oh, I don't get to choose what side of this goes down? That sucks. Croxer and 2 Ugins into the yard. Oh, my 2 Ugins. Two Ugins. Bring that Croxer here. I mean, I can't get Ugin back, so...
I learned much today.
Yeah, this game's looking pretty over. I mean, obviously they can remove 2 things, but if Croxer hits the battlefield, they can only remove 1 thing. But I just got so much value there. Ridiculous. So actually what they could have done there is waited for Croxer to hit, waited for the trigger, and then killed Croxer. Because I can now attack for exact lethal next turn. Yeah, I really wished I would be able to choose what side of this I put into play, because I obviously would have much preferred Tybalt. And yeah, they're dead. Good game. Well, that was fun. Take the play here against Gangnam Style. Okay. It's slow, but it's okay. I got this in a draft and built a really nice snow deck. Also had Ascendant Spirit, so Blood into Snow, bringing back Spirit and starting to pump it felt so sexy. Start off on all these tap lands. I mean, every land in my hand is at least potentially a tap land. So I'm seeing a whole lot of snow. Okay, it's a really bad Valky for them. Literally nothing in my hand it can hit, and it just dies immediately. Hand is tapped, Maze my time, we will scry at our opponent's end step to make sure we hit our land drop. Oh, it's Grixis! That is exciting. It's so exciting I forgot to scry. So we only get a little bit punished. Yeah, Grixis list is pretty high on my list of things to brew. Pretty high. Is this Behold the Multiverse? Yes, so some of the foretell options in our Grixis color seem pretty good. Foretell the Multiverse. So yeah, Behold the Multiverse and Saw It Coming both seem pretty good. Poison the Cup less so, but still okay. That Scry is really sweet. Cosima looks good. Obviously Bone Crusher Giant is great. Valky's great. Waxa. So we're just going to tag this on the way down so they don't get that value. We're going to drop Blood, I think. Yeah, I don't know how easy Crocs is going to be to enable in this style of deck. Just going to play this out as the creature side. I'm not concerned about the 2 damage, I'd rather hold up the card draw. That's an interesting choice. I do not think that card is good enough for standard. Solemn Simulacrum? Okay. There's a interesting list. Interesting list. Just going to attack here. There's no point spending a card removing it. Cold Span Dragon, that's fine, we've got an answer for that. We potentially have Ugin enabled next turn. No, we don't. I take it back. No Ugin next turn. Ugh, this is going to be such a disappointing turn. Seven mana and nothing to do with it. Tapping very, very carefully here. So they know we have Ugin. They've Almost undoubtedly got a response somewhere here. Yep, saw it coming, that's fine. But we've got another Ugin and Valky to follow up with, and they're also stuck on 8 life. Okay, down to 6 life now, but we have lost our thingy. Yeah, I really disagree with some of their card choices here.
Perfection is a challenge. Do not ignore my draconic talent.
I really should have just gone face with that. That's an oops on my part. With a little bit of luck, they'll spend a bit of mana trying to deal with this. Yep. See what they bring back here.
All I deemed appropriate.
Gold span dragon. Yeah, tap out for something else. Tivolt. Wow, that's such a good turn for them.
Rage within your shadow.
Such a good turn for them. So I'm going to tick up here and hope to hit a land.
God! Make no mistake, I'm not.
Should have used the one from my hand. That was a misplay. It doesn't matter, they're both known. I wish I could go face with that.
Painful memories.
If I had gone face with Ugin, they'd be basically dead now. 2 lands, not too great there. Cruxer. Can't. No, they can bring back Cruxer. Damn. I do like the cut of my opponent's jib here, so we obviously need to exile Cruxer here.
I'll...
So opponent's going to have a really big turn next turn. I don't think we can win. But as I said, like I like the general idea of the deck, but like with all these basics, like they must end up getting color screwed so often.
Everyone out! I have work to
Always consider the consequences of your Consider this someone.
To another realm, I suppose.
Yeah, look, there's no way I can win here. Let's just move on. Probably trying to bring in way too many things here. I mean, I'm definitely trying to bring in way too many things, but, you know, that's kind of the point. Not expecting a lot of creatures, but Frostbite can hit Planeswalkers, so does Bloodchief's Thirst, though. Shredded Sails is obviously just for... what's its name? The dragon. Tundra Fumarole also hits the dragon. Three more cuts. I mean, I'm being too greedy. This might actually be better, because at least it can kill Planeswalkers, right? I really want to keep at least two of these, though, to keep a bit of pressure on them. I can probably cut the Ironcrag feat, because the game's going to go long anyway. Yeah, I really need to adjust my sideboard. Should have led on this, so that if I don't hit an untapped land next turn, I can duress. That was my bad. Start picking the hand apart. Take the sad robot. Next turn we can play Tome and grab the Graven Maw. Missed a land drop, unfortunately. Our opponent must be playing so many lands. Okay, so we're going to scry here, make sure we hit land. Here, another land. Cool. I can't believe we're up against a 3-color deck that's playing a pile of basics and we're the ones having land troubles. That doesn't seem all that reasonable to me, just to be honest. Can cycle Shredded Sails. I'm not in a rush to play out Duress because I'm pretty sure this is Behold the Multiverse, and I'm going to want to keep something for after that. And Faceless Haven. Jesus. Must be nice. Must be nice to just run a horrible mana base like this and not be punished. So this might be a counterspell then, by the looks of it. So I am going to use this now, just to use my mana efficiently. Obviously next turn they can start attacking with the Haven. It's a shame that this isn't, that this is a sorcery. We can draw. It does tie up a lot of their mana for the turn at least. Yeah, I feel like this sort of deck, like it's doing okay against me, but I feel like it would get run over by a more aggressive strategy. Get that counterspell out of their hand. Or out of their exile. Yep. Saw that coming. Do have a little bit of life gain coming up here. I'm going to crack this now to see what we hit, because it might inform my land here. 2, 4, 6, it does not. It's nice to get the Ugin though. I assume they're just going to keep smacking down with the Tundra until we draw an answer for it. It's a perfectly fine strategy. Kinda wish I hadn't cut all those Frostbites. Bloodchief's Thirst is not very good against Faceless Haven. Okay, opponent's just being a little bit of a dick. Probably a counterspell. We know they have an answer to this in Frostbite. Yep, there goes our Ugin. This turns out to be Behold the Multiverse. We'll know we made a really bad mistake there. Ashiok, sure.
Listen to your pain. My kin are delightfully friendly.
See, that would have been a nice turn to draw something big.
You must be subdued. I will be sated elsewhere.
At least we can bring back Croxa.
I did all I did.
Ugh. Makes you click through everything because you're holding that mana. Move to attacks. Sure. Kill both of these. Oh, my Valky! My Valky! Okay, so we are still in this game. Wonder what this card is. Yep. So I need 3 more cards in my yard to bring out Croxer. And another Spike Field Hazard will also get the job done. We're both probably wishing we had Cling to Dust in our deck. Let's keep pulling our lands. Fills the graveyard a little as well. Don't know why they're holding priority. Oh, they're not. Just lagging. Just lagging. Oh, the race is on. The race is on to find something relevant. We're in such a good position, it's almost inevitable my opponent will find it first. Why is there a stop here? Okay, so that's not a counterspell. Got plenty of black sources for anything my deck wants to do at the moment. Agonizing Remorse is pretty good here. Means my opponent's dead, yep. So I can take whatever's in their hand, attack, they have to block, and then that gives me the last card in my yard to bring back Croxer. So I kind of do want these back. Bloodchief's Thirst is still good, but I think they might have taken out the dragons. It is still a good card though. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the feet. Cut the Iron Crag feet entirely and just try like this. I just want the one of the Frostbites back in just as insurance against Faceless Haven, which as you can see I didn't have an answer to. This hand is okay. So Spikefield Hazard into Snow Covered Swamp into Maze Mine Tome. Into land, into Simulacrum. Cancel that, Agonizing Remorse. Shot. duress. Yeah, our opponent definitely seems to be running a lot of lands. Because they're trying to do snow-covered basics. So it meant like their end game is powerful. But I think when they come up against less dirty decks, yep. So even there, like, took very little to disrupt them. I just don't think that's a well enough built deck. Like, it looks fun, and I would have loved to be piloting it in this matchup. I'd love to be on their side of the table, but I just think overall, like, they're going to get run over by anything that puts consistent pressure on the board. So there you have it, guys. Some kind of questionable plays from our Demir opponent, I think. But and as I said in the intro, some questionable deck building choices from our Grixis opponent, but we take the wins where we get them. So the deck. I like this deck. I've had a ton of fun playing it. I'm probably going to keep playing it, tweaking it a little bit. I definitely think the snow version is better than the non-snow version. There may be a need to replace some amount of Scorching Dragonfire with some black unconditional removal, although that is kind of what Extinction Event's for. But look, realistic assessment, I don't think this is a great deck. Honestly, think this is a worse version of a Rakdos mid-range deck, which plays a lot of the same cards. A lot of them are even playing Goldspan Dragon now, and I'm seeing Solemn Simulacrum pop up in all sorts of lists at the moment. I guess because the meta's been quite value-oriented for a while. Like, even the aggro deck, the main aggro deck of last season, which was Gruul, included Great Henge to like grind and stuff, and Urian sort of everywhere. So, you know, value is important at the moment, but let's not forget that Rogues is still around, and let's not, you know, it may not have gained heaps from Kaldheim, but it's still there. And it looks like there's some other good tempo tools like Ascendant Spirit, so let's not all be too greedy. But yeah, look, I don't think this is a top competitive deck. I think this deck can be good in the right conditions, and you'll notice in Zendikar Rising, this deck popped up at a specific point. The Rakdos ramp and the big red ramp was never, you know, it was never a tier 1 deck, but it popped up for a while under specific conditions, did okay, and then kind of vanished again because those conditions changed. Specifically, you know, Big Red was not very good against Gruul. I don't know how the Rakdos matchup was. I imagine it was a little bit better, but, you know, it would have had a worse matchup against Rogues than Rakdos mid-range did. So something like this needs specific conditions, I think, to be good, and those conditions are not really present at the moment. So I don't think this is the best or most competitive deck, but I enjoy it. Gonna keep playing it, gonna keep tweaking it, but I'm also going to be trying to play a bunch of different decks, try out some of the new cards, and just see where things go, and not pigeonhole myself into one deck or even two decks like I did last season. But look, it's been fun playing this deck. It's been fun sharing it with you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. You know, by all means, play around with it yourselves if you want to, but, you know, if you don't have these cards, do not craft it for this deck. You just got to frustrate yourself. You definitely just got to frustrate yourself, as you know, it's going to be a struggle to win games. Yeah, that's it. It's fun. A lot of these cards are going to be good in other decks, and you may already have them. Like, Crocs is going to be great as long as he's around. Goldspan Dragon's probably going to be a role player for a while. Ugin's always going to be good. Bone Crusher Giant's one of the best cards in the format. So, like, all of these cards are cards you may already have, you know, or you will be able to use in other decks other than maybe Blood in the Snow. But they're all individually good cards, so it's not a waste to craft them, but just don't craft them for this deck unless you have them to spare and you want to have some fun with it, which this certainly is. But yeah, otherwise, if you just like the look of these cards, play Rakdos mid-range. It's the better deck. You know, I can't say it more simply than that. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to catch you all in the next video. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other.